Hey, Gareth.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How's it going?
Good. When did we last speak?
Uh,
Pre-holidays, I think.
Pre-holidays. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I've lived and died 1,000 deaths since
Tell me,
then.
tell me more.
Um, I think the year ended well, but it was high pressure for a while. I was freaking out a little bit, but I think it all wrapped up nicely. And then I think nice break with the family. And then I think I had a nice Monday, Tuesday coming back. Those 2 days were nice. And then it just like we're just so busy again. And it's like a pressure cooker at the moment. So that has been, I think I've been all right. You've you've armed me with some tools to deal with it, but I think like right now I'm just a little frazzled. It's board meeting time. It's end of the year board stuff. Um, I think it's just getting. But otherwise, I think, yeah, like I hate. Oh, January, awful, awful. It's hard to be. It's hard to be positive when it's punishingly cold outside. I find, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I was
That's
going to say, is it cold enough for you? But you've had that
oh,
conversation 50 times already, I'm sure. So,
I love complaining. It yeah, it's been a lot. Like uh, I was chairing the staff meeting for January, and you know, I was for February, sorry, and I was saying, it's funny how January you come in, it's new, fresh, you're gonna start over, but then when it's the coldest month of the year and you can't leave your house, it's hard to stay so positive. And I felt like that was definitely getting to where it just constant snow and cold. It's silly, but it did get to me, I think. Still getting to me a little bit.
hmm.
I know there's nothing you can do about that. I don't think you have any
I wish,
tricks
I wish
to
I could.
change the weather. Well, the kids are in skiing now, and I bought new skis, so that actually has helped to have something to do on the weekends.
Okay.
But it does add to the mental load because now every weekend got to head up. Like two white knuckle drives the last 2 weeks in the snowstorms. It's like, why do we do this? Why are we doing this? I know I just keep coming back to the snow. That's what's been
Why,
going on, I
why,
think.
why do you do it?
I love it once we're doing it. I'm one of those people where I love it once I'm there. It's the logistics that I don't necessarily uh, fully fully consider, I think.
Hmm.
My partner is a planner. She's very good at all that. I'm like, we'll just go. And then you can't just go sometimes. Sometimes you need to like plan it out or I'm a little too what's the word I'm looking for? Gung ho for lack of a better term. And it's like you should have maybe thought that through. I don't know. I'm a bit scattered today, Jordan. So um I love it though, and it's a good way to I think you have to interact with winter to make it bearable.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just in your house hating things. And I find the winter goes so much longer. Bad habits can creep in and it can be negative,
Hmm.
I find. It's like COVID again. It's like I get
Yeah.
myself into trouble.
S- So what? Hmm. So you say you scatter.
Yes. I think that's just because busy weekend, busy day already.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What's feeling most present?
I think I don't like the term anxiety. Um, a little bit of unease, I think. Just like there's a lot. I mean, I'm going to Supreme Court of Canada tomorrow, so that's kind of cool. But around that, there's just like board meetings and these things where uh, it will be challenging. There'll be there'll be lots of questions and discussion, and I think I'm just feeling like I'll be in the hot seat. Not for anything I've done, but end of the year numbers, everybody wants to talk about claims.
Yeah.
Some claims go up, and when that happens, everybody starts blaming the claims department. I'm very used to it. I think I'm just getting in my own head a bit, to be honest. Just getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's never as bad as I think when it happens, but I don't know what's going on with that. Tell me, wise one.
You're gonna tell yourself. So
Yeah.
so I guess knowing that, how do you want to use our time then today?
Um, talk me down from the ledge, maybe. Uh, actually, I did have a question. Yeah. I think one of my questions was around one, trying to stay motivated and engaged when
Mm,
you hate the weather and it doesn't feel um, very fun, but also how I can help keep the team engaged because I feel like everybody is feeling similarly. Um, I guess the other thing is my new director, who I believe you know,
mhm,
she's great and she's doing a great job, but she's really feeling um, she uses the word chaos, and that feels strong, but like the disruptive way our company seems to be running right now. It's more senior levels. It's very, she's not happy with it.
mhm,
And sort of like, surprise, welcome to the club. Uh, I, I have been telling her about it, but I'm seeing it more as well through her. And it just feels very, she feels overwhelmed a lot. And there's too many demands on her time. So I guess I would love some advice on how to help her manage it, or the types of things I can say and do to help her. I'm pretty good at talking her down from the ledge, but that's just in the moment where she's feeling really upset. It's not
mhm.
necessarily changing or fixing the problem, and that the too many demands on her time. I think
Yeah.
she feels people are taking advantage of her, or like that's the wrong word. Um, it's easier to ask someone else to do it than to do it yourself.
Yeah. It can
And
be.
I think, yeah, I think that's what's happening is that they're saying, hey, Haley, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And I get that she's not comfortable saying no yet. Most people don't like saying no. I keep saying you need to learn how to hold a no, saying, listen, you
Yeah.
have priorities, you have things you need to do. I'll help you when I have a chance. Easy for me to say. Um, but I'm feeling that same thing too. Like there's just a lot of, I don't know what the word is, like people coming to you, I need this, I need that. It's always an emergency. It's, it just adds to the strain, I think. And it's
Yeah.
hard to manage your time
Yeah.
with that happening. And it also leads to tension, right? With these other people, with other groups.
Yeah. So you're naming the tension that comes from this, right? The sense of what I'm sensing is that there's this pull. You
Exactly.
you you said something interesting before, which is easy for you to say no. Why is it easy for you to say?
I've been doing it longer. Um, there's something I think we have really sweet, kind, well-meaning staff in my department. And a lot of them, we like helping people. Like that's our job
Mm,
in claims basically. And you want to help your colleagues. It's hard. It's hard to say no. Nobody talks about that, right? Nobody talks about that. We talk about collaborating and working together and helping each other out. What we don't talk about is, listen, I have, finite time and unlimited demands, and I have to prioritize. And we don't really, we talk about having courageous conversations or tough conversations. Nobody likes to hear no. At
yeah.
the end of the day, nobody likes to hear that. And I'm not saying, I'm just telling them like you need to be honest with them and tell them that. And I'm usually used to that, so I can't do it right now. And I guess some people don't. Well, I think Haley doesn't want to be disliked. I think there's this feeling of like if I do this, they're not going to be happy with me. And my view is yeah, that happens sometimes. And I think I'm just more comfortable doing that. Might not be a good thing. I'm just more realistic where I'm like, listen, no. What my predecessor used to say, an emergency on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. And I I just love the way that sounds. Like you could have come to me 2 weeks ago. Now you're coming to me in a panic and there's a lot. I don't really know if I'm using the term properly, but it feels like there's a lot of gaslighting, where somehow this is my fault, somehow your problems are my fault, and there's yeah, the dynamic has shifted a bit, and it's been challenging. at senior levels where people are like, I need you to do this. This is the first time hearing of it. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to, and they want me to drop everything to do it. And things like that, I guess, irk me. I'm sure that's just the way I'm seeing it, but that there's just something in the air lately.
Well, and yet you're able to do the thing that your director is seemingly unable to do.
Well, I'm not sure I'm doing it perfectly. I'm just a
Is
little
there
more.
perfect?
No, no, don't be. The last guy was perfect, right, Bruce? I think I,
I have never heard that one before. That's
my predecessor used to say it all the time. It's cheesy, but it works sometimes.
hey, it
No, I'm
works.
not perfect at all, man. Like I'm more comfortable saying no. I'm also more. Sometimes I say like I'm more fallible. I'll be the first to be like, I cannot handle this. I have too much on my plate. I can't do it. Uh, I don't have that thing where I'm perfect all the time. I'm quite the opposite. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing half the
Yeah.
time. Or I'm, what's the joke? I'm like, nobody thinks of me as calm. I'm like, I'm not a calm person. I can be volatile, but it's always truthful. I'll always tell you exactly what I think. But sometimes I think it's too much, or sometimes I don't have the answer, or sometimes they'll say, I can't do this right now.
Yeah.
Other people don't. Okay, maybe that's not professional. Probably not. But my
But does it
thought,
matter?
I don't think so.
Well, so that I think that's an important thing to hone in on here, which is you're able to maintain the level of, let's say, balance or control or space that you need, right?
I hope so.
Well, based on what matters to you.
Yes,
And so how can you use that with
that's
your
good.
director?
So that's really good. I mean, like we have been making progress, but framing it is what I need help with. And the things you're saying are helpful. She knows what she wants to do. I think part of it is being relatively new to the position. She's like, do I have permission to do this or that? And I keep saying, you're the CEO of your own career. Like you know what needs to be done. You can say no to these people. You don't need to ask me, and they won't come running to me. And if they do, I'll defend you, if anything. So I think that's part of it is having agency to make decisions like that. I think she's still getting comfortable.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, I'm still getting comfortable. Like I'm just more used to it, right? Where just realistically, this is the only thing that can happen right now. Or no, I can't do that right now. Maybe Wednesday. Um, yeah, I guess I think she's worried that it's going to negatively impact her reputation. Um, but more than that, I think she just is annoyed, maybe a little disillusioned by like the lack of what's the word I'm looking for? Like organization. Like it looks just really sloppy, right? She's just
Mm,
like, this feels like nobody's really in charge. It feels like it's just mayhem. Uh, that sometimes is a good description, right? Like you've got a lot of, there's no clear direction, right? Like there's no, I think you've heard me say this before, everything feels like an emergency. And if
mm.
everything's an emergency, it's like, how do I know what I'm supposed to prioritize? And I keep trying to, I mean, I think I'm fairly good at saying these are things we need to do, trying to empower her to make those calls. I think she's just a little unsure because doing one thing and not doing another means sometimes saying no to something, right? And then, well, what are they going to do? I don't know.
E- Exactly.
They're
Right.
grown-ups. They'll figure it out.
Well, it's that, and there's also the question of how, and this may be a question you ask her, which is how is saying yes to others being of service to them, and how might saying no to them be of service to them?
That's good. I mean, at this point, I don't think it doesn't feel like you're being of service. It feels like I know that feeling. This
Hmm.
feels more extreme,
Okay.
more, I don't want to say panicked, but there is a bit of that feeling where everything is a priority. Everything is, we have to talk about this right now. And it, it's really hard to know what is actually important. It's just like the the demand of today. The demands of
Yeah.
tomorrow will be just as important, but they'll be different. Um, I mean, one of the things I keep reminding her is maybe these people need to figure these things out for themselves. Like, what are they? I'm not getting a good look at everything. This is the one thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is it exactly? Like, what? Show me what they are saying, and not in a way like I don't believe you, but let me see it. Let me help. Let send one of those to me, and I'll see if I can help. I don't have a good, she says, "Oh, I'm okay," and calms down, but it keeps happening. So there's something there. I think people just come to her for answers. She doesn't necessarily feel like she has. And I
Mm,
mean, I know that feeling. Uh, there's a feeling lately. I don't know how much you've heard from other things you're doing with us, but there's this need to have the answer right away, or this
mhm,
feeling of pressure to have the answer right away. And my approach has always been nobody has the answer right away. Like you need time to think. You need the same way like you need desk space to work. You need to actually, for me it's pen to paper. I actually
yeah.
need time to think things through. And there is not a lot of space for that. And I don't think it's intentional. I just think one person will open their mouth and they'll just have the answer. And if that person never has to stop and think, it makes others feel stupid or somehow, you know, inadequate if they have to stop and think. I've seen that more than once. And that's not to say that person who shouted out the answer actually shouted out the right answer. They just shouted out
Mhm.
an answer. And I think that's part of what maybe I'm feeling as well. Just you have to have the answer, and you have to have the answer that this person wants. My answers aren't always the same as what that person wants, and it leaves um, little room, right? Like everything just feels a bit tight.
Yeah. Remember we worked through the nonviolent communication model?
Yes, I think I need a refresher. I have been lazy. I've been lazy, Jordan. I haven't been looking at my documents.
You
Um,
don't
but
you don't need to look you don't need to look at your
no,
thing.
look, that's why it's there, right? Like that's why it's there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull it up.
Please.
Because there's something in what you're saying that I feel this model can help us with a little bit. So bear with me, please.
I knew you would have answers.
I have no answers, and I'm
Yeah.
comfortable telling you I have no answers.
Well, I often say the same things. I don't know.
Well, something I used to say as a lawyer to clients. Actually, I didn't say it to clients. I said it to I said it to associates.
Yeah, okay.
And I would say, they don't pay us to know the answer. They pay us to find the answer.
See,
And
that's great.
that reframe sometimes, not every time, but sometimes would allow me and them to say, "Oh, that means I can give myself some time."
That's
Right?
exactly what it needs. I love
So
that.
so that might be something to try. Um But let's jump into this. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here and I want to look at the model. So,
Yes.
and I'm asking this from your perspective,
Okay.
which is when somebody's coming to you with the demand of I need an answer on this right now, how
Yeah.
often are you pausing to ask what do I need?
Never.
Okay.
I'm
So,
being honest, like never. I hate the term trigger, but like
yeah.
that thing I find puts me off a bit. Um, like when requests just come in, hey, I need to talk to you. I need you to do this right now. I don't like working that way. I would much rather a softer, just come talk to me. But lately that hasn't been the way it's been going. So usually not, right? I
Okay.
find myself put off by it. So this is already helpful because it's silly,
Well,
but I have to remember to just breathe. It's like, okay, take a minute.
I mean, yeah, we could put it in those terms, right? But it could also simply just be like a practice of, or a habit of I'm just going to take 1 second, right? And
Yeah,
just check in. And so now why does this come to mind in terms of the NBC model? It comes to mind in
yeah,
terms of this model because in this model, there is the pause for like the pause is the need right now based on what we're talking about. And the need then leads into the request part, which
right.
allows you or your director, right? to say, if I need time, then I'm allowed to ask. I might get a no, right? But I'm
Yeah.
allowed to ask. Once they ask, then there's the necessitation of the possibility of disappointing somebody, which
Yeah.
may or may not need, your director may or may not need to get more comfortable with that, right? But also the opportunity to then see how the other person reacts,
Yes.
right? And then check in again. Okay, well, how do I feel about this? What are my thoughts about this? Okay, what do I need? So then we fall into the loop. And what's interesting about this is that it's not, we're using it in the context not of a dispute per se, and it's not even really like a feedback scenario per se. It's more along the lines of, oh, if I just jump in at the need part and ask, what do I need right now? Then almost certainly I'm going to have an opportunity to pause this process briefly so I can reorient.
That's what I need to do. See, like it's so into when you're not in it, it makes total sense. But when it's almost like fight or flight response, and it's not an argument, it's not confrontational, but it's not. It sometimes feels quasi like that person is usually in a certain state, and they're coming saying, "I need this, I want that," and that you know, in the 3 seconds of the interaction, I can be easily put off by that. Um,
Can we
and then
talk
all of a
about that
sudden,
a little bit? State?
sure. Um, Yeah, I'm silly. I want people to come and be nice. And if my whole thing is if you're asking me for something,
Yeah.
like you're asking something of me, you should be polite, you should be kind, and you should sort of recognize like I'm asking you for something. Can you help me? And it sounds silly, but I guess that's how I want things packaged. I realize that that's not what's going to happen. I did make reference to gaslighting, and like it's a funny position that there's certain people take that and they it somehow comes across like, hey, listen, you need to do this for me and blah 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 because and I'm not describing it perfectly, but it it's clever because and I'm not sure if it's contrived or if
Yeah.
that's just how they are or if that's what they actually think. um but like we've had a few, I'll say, um like confrontations where thankfully Haley was like, this is their problem. This is not our fault. They're trying to make you feel bad. And I was like, well, I didn't feel bad, but I did get that there's just a weird positioning of it. I'm not used to that. I'm just
Yeah.
a simple kid. I want you to just like tell me what you need and why you need it. And window dressing and positioning, I find that really frustrating, and it does throw me off.
Let's talk. Can I drill in on the state thing a little more?
Yeah, please.
Okay. What when you say so there's the person comes to you in a state and then there is you in a state, right?
Yeah.
Let's start with the state they are coming to you in. Describe it in terms of their feelings.
Um, well, it's hard to know what they're feeling, but they come across as somewhat forceful. I got to use an example.
Yeah.
So we brought in a new payment system. Apparently, we've been doing this for like a year. My former director, almost a year ago, was like, "This is going to be a disaster. This is going to be a big problem." And it was like, "Okay, well, thanks for letting me know. We'll see what happens." And we basically never heard from them again. Never heard of it again. All this work is happening, but they're really not liaising with us. And then
Mm,
at the end of the year, so like the last week before holidays, of which I would be in Alberta for the first half, we had a group come to us and very forcefully be like, you need to make your staff available for training on Friday. This week, it has to happen now. So, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what you're referring to. Payment
mhm.
system, it has to go live. We're going live. You need to train your people. Like, it is the Friday before the last week, and you want me to bring them in on the last day in person for 3 hours of payment system training? Like, where have you been? And it just that forceful delivery, like, just made me angry,
Yeah.
right? And I was quite volatile, like, which we've dealt with that. I was like, you can't just do that. And Like, where have you been for the last 6 months? And it's down to the wire, and now you're acting like this is my problem. This is your problem.
Hmm.
And just I really resented the way they went about it. Somehow the insinuation that I have to do these things is like, I don't have to do anything. I'm happy to let your little project fail.
Hmm.
Um, but how do I say this? Thinking about it, what it felt like to me was they were feeling very vulnerable, exposed, because
Okay.
they're in a tough spot, right? They're worried that this is not going to work. It hasn't
Yeah.
gone to plan. Um, and now they need something from me. And just the way they came at it, I was like, you're going about this all wrong. Like, if you come to
Yeah.
me and just told me what was happening, I feel like that would have gone a lot further. Just coming out guns blazing and just like this nonsense about what I have to do. Maybe that was just my interpretation of it, but it just left such a bad taste in my mouth, right? It's like, I don't want to help,
Yeah. Okay.
right? I,
How did you feel then?
I was angry, but
Angry?
I told them so. I was like, I'm really annoyed with you. I'm really upset about this. Like, where have you been? Oh, we couldn't tell you for this, for that. Like, you could have told me. You could have
Okay.
told me.
Yeah.
I'm like, the timing, whatever. But if you knew this timing, like, why didn't you tell me a month ago? Coming to me like it was like a Friday at 6 o'clock, and they're telling me I need you for the next Friday. It's like, most people are out next week anyway, right? I'm like, what are you talking? It was
Yeah.
just so. I mean, if they're stuck, they're stuck. They never said they were stuck,
Yeah.
right? And it just
They didn't say you were stuck, but you were able to use your own observations to notice that this person was feeling vulnerable.
that's
So,
my take on it. I'm like, you're in trouble, and what I'm starting to think about certain groups is like, when you're in trouble,
hmm,
uh, you get into like a fighting stance, right?
exactly.
Right, like you're overcompensating, and it's just it makes the job harder. Makes the job
Yeah.
harder than it needs to be.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about stance. So, in terms of stance, what do you think is physically going on for this person? Emotionally, we feel like they're vulnerable, right? Physically, how do you think they feel?
Um, I think they're pretty upset. I think they're worried about how this reflects on them. They're worried.
Uh-huh.
Nobody wants anything to fail.
Uh-huh.
They feel, it's a huge amount of pressure, like little incremental things that have to happen, but also the bigger pressure. Of, did this project not work? Um, and just I feel like they're marshaling resources in this really adversarial way, just to try and get it done, to hold it together, to cobble it together, to ram it through. And
Yeah.
I just hate that. I hate everything about that. I don't think that
Okay.
that ever works. So my reaction pretty much told them that, right? Um,
Okay.
and again, I'd rather they just be honest.
Okay. So let's before we shift to that, what do you think that person needed? Because, like, and now just to jump out from a theoretical perspective, a lot of the feelings that you're naming that this person has or may have had are feelings that normally coincide with having something not being met in terms of needs.
I don't think their needs have been met, to use that
Ah.
language. I think the whole, from what we hear, the whole implementation's been a disaster.
Hmm.
Um, but when that's the case, I question, like, maybe your needs aren't, maybe the needs you stated aren't the ones you actually need. I'm using the word need too much now. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a misalignment. I'm like, whatever you think is happening, what's actually happening are not the same.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what that reaction is that not buyer's remorse, but the idea that it's not going to go as I thought it had. It's not working as well as I expected it to. I mean, that to certain degrees that happens with everything, but I think they're way out of line. I think like there's fairly serious problems, and I think they're pretty worried about it. And I think
Okay.
they would love for it all to just go away and to work. And from what I hear, I don't think it can. I think I don't know if that's possible. I think they needed a hug. I think they needed like someone to say, "Hey, man, don't worry, it's going to be all right."
Okay. Great. Great. In the context of the because that's really the context of the conversation between the two of you,
Yes,
which was the reality at the time, right? It was really just the two of you.
yes.
So, what could you have asked for, or what could you have asked of them, knowing what their need was?
well, one, like how you expect me to help you. Exactly what do you want from me? Because I wasn't even really clear on that. I was like, what is it
Mhm.
that you need to have done? What is it that you're actually after here? But demanding we show up and do something. I was like, but what is the outcome? That like what are
Mhm.
you trying to achieve? Uh, and they weren't very forthcoming on that. I'll admit I didn't really ask either, which probably didn't help. Saying, what is it that you actually need?
Okay.
Um, and it was, yeah, the more I think about it, it was, I think they were very defensive, feeling
Mhm.
defensive. Their their defense tends to be offense. That makes sense. They tend to
Mhm.
be
Mhm. Well, they're
overcompensating.
corner fan of the
Yeah,
left. Yeah.
exactly. Cornered out. Exactly. That's the greatest analogy in that case. Um, and I was toying with them a bit because I was annoyed, and I was, I would rather you just sort of, because we're trying to work at the senior level, as you know, working with Unicorn. Like we need to be able to talk to each other. And my concern is in the heat of the moment, ego, ego was first. Do you know what I mean? Like you could have just talked to me because that's sort of what we're all asking each other to do. And I guess what annoys me is that that's what would be asked of me,
Yeah.
but then they won't do it themselves. I'm like, what? Why do I have to bend the knee when you won't? And it's not
Mhm.
about that. It's just annoying that we're gonna find ourselves here again. I'm more than okay to do that. Say, hey, let's go talk for a minute, and here's what's happening. And I feel like that person will say, yeah, let's do that. But when you're actually in a situation, that's not how they behave at all,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. So, staying in the payment processing scenario,
Yeah,
what did you what did you need in that moment?
honestly, like some recognition. And there's a number of people on the call, and the ones I know and like were like, listen, we're really sorry. We should have come to you. We should have come to you a lot sooner. Like this could have been avoided. I just needed to hear that. I just needed to hear that. Like, thank you. Okay, just own it.
Yeah.
Don't say that this is somehow my fault
Yeah.
or problem. I'm like, this is your doing, right? And you could have come to me earlier and you didn't. Just acknowledging that would have helped a lot. And then some
Yeah.
degree of flexibility saying, I realize I'm coming to you
Yeah.
late in the day. Like, can we find a way forward rather than demanding this, and this?
Yeah.
Um, just like a little more humanity. Just be realistic
Yeah.
and be,
Okay.
yeah,
So
just yeah,
appreciation, acknowledgement.
silly, selfish. We're all prima donnas at the BP level. It's true.
Not at all.
Uh,
It's not at all. You like not to
I'm
argue,
teasing,
but
but
no, I
yeah,
know, but I'm not, right? Like
yeah, fair,
you're
fair.
saying to yourself, like it's humanity. So how could you have
Decency.
exactly? How could you have asked for that in the moment?
Well, I could have just literally asked for it and just said,
Yeah.
listen, like you realize you're coming to me very late in the day. Um, and I have no problem saying there needs to be some tacit acknowledgement that you're coming to me in the 11th hour and
Yeah.
asking me to do something for you and asking something of my people,
Hmm.
not just me. You're asking me to ask them, right? And it's like, this is the day, nobody's working the last day before the holidays. I'm like, and now they're coming in for like 6 hours of computer trading. But they're going to be like, what am I being punished for? What did I do wrong?
Hmm.
And just some acknowledgement like that you're asking me to do that for you, right? Just acknowledge it. And I will, I mean, I did do it. I was like, look, I will do this. But I'm not happy about it. And what did I say? Well, I mean, I did let them have it. I was like, listen, this is why your engagement scores are in the toilet like this. Uh, and like, and it was those two groups who have the lowest engagement scores. It was like, this is what you guys do, and this is avoidable. Uh, but I care about the company, and I cannot have our scores collectively go down or having one group saying, nah, they screwed up again. I was like, we have enough of that. We don't need any more of that. And this would only add to that. So I was like, no, we will help you because I don't want that. And I mean, I don't think it made a difference anyway. Ultimately, people were pissed off. It's like, we'll move this thing forward. I will help you. I said to them, like, that's what you should have said to me. I told them what they should have said. Like, you should have come to me this way, talk to me that way. Uh, no apologies, and then they're like, you were really aggressive in that call and you should apologize to people. And I was just like, fuck you. Don't tell me that. Maybe that was wrong, but I don't feel bad about it at all. Like, no, you don't get to come in. Give me an make interrupt what I'm doing, tell me I need to do things, and then be upset at my reaction. Go yourself. I think I said that, which is not professional, but felt good in the moment. Um, some, I'm sure this is wrong. You want to stop recording? Uh, this is the part where like sometimes someone needs to be told. Every now and then there's someone like you need to be told. Maybe not in those words, but you know what I mean. Like you need to be taken down a peg, not like that. But just reminded how to
Yeah.
operate, and what you're doing isn't okay. This isn't cool.
How do you feel about having reacted that way now?
So I think I said earlier, and you know this, I can be very volatile. I'm not smooth meter. I'm all over, but I will always own it. And
Mhm.
right away, I was like, listen, I'm sorry for what I said, but I was reacting in the moment. Like I said that in the call. It's
Mhm.
like, look, I'm sorry. That's just how I am. You know that. You're offended. Sorry, I didn't mean it. But like, you're seeing a real reaction. I don't have that, not yet. That ability to just go, right. Like I'm reacting to certain things. It takes a lot to get there, but there's certain
Yeah.
things where I'm like, this is not okay. Um, I don't think I regret it. I'd rather it have gone differently. But at the same time, I can't control what they're coming to me with, right? Like I didn't know what they were going to say or what they were going to ask. I'm always wary of 5 o'clock meetings on a Friday. Like this is
Yeah.
not good. Can't be good. Um, yeah, I mean, I hopefully won't do it again next time. But at the same time, if they're doing this again, I'm like, we've been here before. I don't know. In
Well,
hindsight, I always wish
that's
I
my
was better. I always wish I was
so
better. Hindsight.
well, that's my question, which is how do you want to handle that sort of thing in the future?
Oh, calm, cool, professional, funny. Oh, this is the perfect thing. That's how I would like to be. But that's not the reality of the working world someday. Not going to happen.
How could you make it more likely to be the reality?
Be be the change you want to see in the world. I could try and model that behavior myself. I mean, I do,
Yeah.
but I am susceptible to events and things, right? And
Yeah.
like the example I was thinking is when you read an HR textbook or organizational behavior, it's like, yeah, of course, if everybody's cool, calm, and rational, this is exactly how you behave. But people aren't cool, calm, and rational a lot of the time.
Exactly.
What do you do then, right? And like taking a second, pause, collect yourself. I'm getting much better at that, but some days,
Yeah. I mean, it's less about changing other people or the world or the circumstances. It's simply just adjusting your way of being with the circumstances.
totally how I react because I can't control that.
Okay, so going back to Haley,
Yes.
how could you model and or teach her what we've been speaking about for her own dilemma?
One, she can see me do it. Like again, just modeling behavior, which I'm trying to show. I mean, I try to say this, say this, say that. This is what I usually say.
Hmm,
Um, I mean, she'll acknowledge some days, like, it's just today, or she's like, I'm just
yeah,
having a hard time. But again, it's not your fault. This is being not done to you, but like, this is the environment you're in. These demands are coming in. Um, and I think part of it is just like triage. I think everybody needs, our company's not good at triage. Just like, okay, what is this? What do I need from this? What are we supposed to do here? And I don't think we're comfortable saying this is more important than that. That the more I think about it, like that never, like we don't really hear that. Now that I think that, there's something there, Jordan. A light bulb
well,
just went off.
we're getting back to what we talked about at the beginning of the call, which is what matters.
Yeah. And it's just like, I need, personally, I would appreciate a lot more clarity and direction on what is important and extension, what isn't. And we don't have that. The answer to everything, it's like improv class at New everything is yes
Mhm.
and you know some of us who've been there a long time will be rolling our eyes like this is not what an insurance company is supposed to be doing. But there is this reluctance to say, well, I'm not sure if that's for us to do. I think there might be other entities, organizations, what have you, who do a better job of that than us. You will never hear that. I have never heard that. And you never hear somebody saying, listen, I think this is the priority right now. We really need to focus on that. This
Mhm.
can be secondary income weight, at least not in those words, not in that language, um, which is helpful. Like just understanding this hierarchy of this is what you're supposed to be doing. That less so. I mean, I try to be clear with the staff saying our job in our department is this. This is what you
Mhm.
need to focus on. The rest, secondary, tertiary, quaternary. You don't need to worry about those things. You get to it if you get to it. Um, but there isn't any of that like, collectively at a very senior level. I think
Why do you think that collectively at a senior level or at an organizational level, there is this, seeming inability to say no to certain things?
truthfully, what
Mhm,
do I think? I
mhm,
think ego is part of it. It's like, no,
mhm.
we can do anything. Everything you do takes resources. Everything you do takes time and money and effort, and there's an opportunity cost. The things you're going to do means you can't do other things. But we don't have that conversation, right? And we've had this funny exercise where we've been complaining about workload for a long time. So we'll go through all these things we're doing to try and find things to drop off.
Yeah,
Nothing gets dropped. The
and why
answer from the top is, well, we can't stop doing that and we can't stop doing that. I'm just like, don't you see what you've just done to you? You just told them that this is what it is and you have to keep going. I was like, yeah, it's very deflating for people who are like, I'm drowning. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, you've got too much on your plate, but that's how it is. You're probably the problem, is sort of what they start thinking.
So just to from the lens of the top,
Yeah.
why continue to say, "Well, we can't stop doing that," or "We can't stop doing that"? What is going on? Because you mentioned ego. What is going on at an
Yes.
ego level, right, to be unable to say no?
I, failure is not an option. Failure
What
is not
happens
an
when you
option.
fail?
We were wrong. I was wrong. I couldn't do it. I wasn't good enough. We weren't good enough. It was a mistake. All these things. And I mean, I don't see it that way at all. Like you have finite resources. You need to figure out the most important stuff. And if
Yeah.
people are telling you they can't do it, if you make them do it, they're going to do a shit job of it. Like just either pull the plug, like stop, start, continue. You're supposed to do that regularly. What are we doing that we need to keep doing? What should we stop? And we're not good at that. We're really good at adding,
Mhm,
horrible at taking away. You
mhm.
know what we end up doing? Hiring more people. And
Exactly.
it just becomes this house of cards, just like, perpetual motion machine. I'm like, no one's actually doing anything. Like you're all busy doing stuff. I don't think you're moving the needle on the things that we need to be focusing on at all. And it's just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, there's a term, I can't remember what it is now. It's like the thing just exists to serve itself.
Oh, it's like self-perpetuating.
Yeah, it's just like we're just in this little box doing our little thing. But like, no, we're not in a box. We need to be influencing and improving and helping others, and we're not spending all this time on ourselves. It's just wasteful. It's a wasteful
Yeah,
time, waste of resources.
and you said something about failure. What
Yeah,
happens to the clients when you fail?
the premiums go up, or
Mhm.
they don't go down, or like I mean, they're all paying for us, right? So healthcare dollars are paying here, come to for a premium, and that supports the organization. Everything we do that is not worthwhile is a waste of their money.
And what
Of
happens
course,
when what happens when their money's wasted?
well, the resources in healthcare are so limited. Like we need to be obsessive about how we, are conservators of that money and how we manage that money. And we say we are, but then I think some of the stuff we're doing, it's like it's not a good idea. And eventually they might start looking elsewhere, right? Because they might not see it, but we're getting bloated. We're becoming bloated. And they'll just start
Exactly.
saying, Xerox getting too expensive and I'm not seeing the value the way I used to.
And what's the feeling they'll have?
Subscribers?
Yeah. If they're not
Well,
getting what they need or they're being charged too much or they
they're
don't
going to
like
want to go somewhere else. They're going to feel like their needs aren't being met. And maybe this isn't the solution for us. Maybe we should look at an alternative solution. And of course, we've been saying that for a long time. Like, there's no competition for us. There's no Aviva coming in. It's
Yeah.
that the hospitals say, we're going to do this ourselves. We don't need you anymore. Or something like that, right? And we know that that's the biggest risk, but our behavior keeps slowly inching us, sometimes, I think, towards that eventuality,
It's a
right?
self-fulfilling prophecy is what you're saying.
Yeah, like, just then stop all this nonsense, right? And
Yeah. So, would it be fair to say that the clients would be disappointed?
that's the word I had in my mind as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
disappointed,
hap
let down. Like,
what happens when
what's
they're
happening?
disappointed? What is the risk of happening when they're disappointed for T-Rock?
Well, we won't exist anymore, right? They'll be
Mhm.
disappointed enough that they're like, I don't. They'll lose faith in what we're doing. They'll stop believing in what we're doing, and they'll look for another answer. Or they'll look for another solution. They won't want it to be us, and then we don't exist anymore.
Would it be fair to say that, and I'm leading a little here, but
Please lead.
would it be fair to say that the company might feel disliked?
I would, yeah, I would be tremendously disappointed if they at some point grew to dislike us. Most of them like us a lot, um, but that's not as rock solid as everybody thinks it is.
Mhm.
Right? It's dependent on certain things, and I don't think we're. I think we continue to spend money and to grow in the wrong way, in spite of all of their. They don't protest, but like, we hear from them how dire the circumstances are, and then we'll be adding some new initiative that doesn't benefit them, or
Mhm.
they'll will pretend it benefits them, but I don't think they really see the value in it. And eventually, something's going to happen where the cost will outweigh benefit for the value that they think they're getting from it. Then we're in trouble.
Yeah. So do you see the pattern here in terms of what's happening internally and what's happening externally?
Yes, I do. Are you saying that we're afraid to say things that we need to say because we don't want to be disliked? Or yes, yeah. Well, I think everybody does it
Everybody
to a
does
certain
it.
extent.
Everybody does it, and it's a pattern that most people fall into, and yet they know that it doesn't serve their interests, either organizationally or interpersonally.
That's really interesting. So how do we fix it then? How do we
Well,
get out of that
it goes
cycle?
back to what you said. You have the answer already. It goes back to what you said earlier, which is what do we know? What do we learn how to say no to?
How do we get everybody else to do it? How do I get
You got to
everyone else to
teach
be
it.
as smart as me, Jordan? How do I do that?
You
How
start
am I
having
going to do that?
you start having harder conversations. You start leading from behind with the way you already have been, by the way.
Yeah, that's
Like,
helpful.
your conversations with the CEO have been, we know, much more productive. You're navigating
Yes,
that relationship differently. You're approaching her
yes.
from the perspective of what does she need? What kind of hug can I give her?
For the most part, some days I just
Oh,
I just can't do it,
okay. Well, like you said,
man.
the last guy who was perfect was crucified, right? So
Yeah,
you're
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
so it's just about extending that way of being to
yeah,
others.
yeah. I got it. Serving our own interests.
Like,
Okay.
how could you be, and this is a big question, but how could you be the seed inside the organization for the growth of that approach?
Well, I'm just going to have to do it. I just have to get good at having those conversations, or at least, broaching the idea. It is viewed as controversial, and some people frame it so, "Oh, you just don't want to do it." I'm just like, no, no, that's not what I'm saying. Like, there's some things we should do and some things we shouldn't do, and maybe if we're going to start this, we should stop something else. But the resources aren't infinite, and we don't like having those conversations. Uh, I will try.
It's like a
I have an
marriage.
idea. Yeah.
What's the idea?
Um. So one of the ideas is I do spend a fair bit of time with the CEO, and I will just start framing more of my discussions around that way, right? Around resources, and we can't be all things to all people, which is what we are trying to be, right? We're turning into like this concierge company. We're like, yes, and what would you like? And it's just it's not sustainable in the long term. Also, it just totally diluted a focus where
Exactly.
and that's what a lot of people complain about too. They're like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking.
They don't, because they
Um,
don't know what matters.
and because they're told that everything matters.
Exactly.
And yeah, well, we've come full circle, and that was actually really helpful.
You know what? Think about it this way. It's like a marriage that is, let's say, on the rocks a little. And so
Yeah.
one partner goes out.
Oh, I know about that.
So
I know all about that. You got another hour?
we'll turn off the recording for that one.
Uh,
So
uh,
one partner goes out every day and buys these increasingly lavish gifts
yes.
in order to make the other partner happy because they think this is what they want, this is what's going to make them happy, and it doesn't. And then eventually they bankrupt themselves and the partner leaves anyway. Why? Because the
Yeah.
structure of the marriage not only now was missing the emotional component, but was missing
Yeah.
the financial component, right?
Yeah. Because you
So
blew it on gifts that they didn't actually want.
exactly, right? Exactly.
That
So
that
you're,
analogy.
you're my sense is that what is happening is that there is so much focus on pleasing
It's
and
it's something like that. Yes.
there's not enough focus on needs.
Yes. That's right. Or, well, no one's asking about needs. Well, part of it, and this is one of the things that does get to me, a little bit of gaslighting as well, is people will tell them what they need. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Ask them.
Ask them.
Ask them what they need. Or ask them if you have an idea in mind, ask them if they'd like that. And I think we do have a real escalation of commitment thing where you've got an empire building. You have certain groups who are like, we are going to build an empire and this is what we're going to do, whether they like it or not. Right? It's like this is what we're doing. And no one is asking those questions. And I'll tell you one of the reasons we avoid those conversations, Jordan, is because someone will view it as hostile. And that like you can't just have that they'll feel like they're being attacked. Like I think that's just a good defense. Um, but you should be able to ask those questions, right? Be like, what is the value to this? What does it cost? Why is this a good idea? Um, like we there's not be business cases for anything, not an actual business. Like, what's your business case for this? It's oh, we had a conversation, and I talked to the boss, and she likes the idea. It's like I'm sure you did, but you can't run a company that way per se, not forever.
No, it's certainly not in the long term. And making business decisions on the basis of uninvestigated emotions, right? Is
Which is
not
what Hirok loves to do.
that's not a strategy.
No, no, and I mean even our strategy. I mean, let's leave that. But it's this is really helpful. I feel I feel like I know what to do. I'm always just looking for clarity, Jordan. I'm just looking for like, okay, so what do I got to go do? What do I got to go
Well,
do?
maybe
And I
that's a
feel
good
like I
place.
have a better sense of what to do now.
So maybe that's a good place to wrap. What are you going to do, and when?
Cool. I have some meetings today, so assuming I'm not, in the hot seat the whole time, um, I do. I mean, I have these conversations quietly, but I'm going to try and have them less quietly, like a little more saying. I really frame it like it's not an attack on anything or anybody. Like you can ask these same things of me. We should be always asking, what is the value here? What need are we meeting? Is it worth it? Is this a good use of our time, money, and effort? And what are we giving up to do this? Like we really don't have those conversations in that way. And I think we should try.
Can you take those 5 questions that you just asked and write them down on a piece of paper?
What did I say? Like, there are
It was
some.
along the lines of, do we need
Yeah.
this? What are we giving up to do this?
Yeah,
You
I got.
know them,
Yeah.
and keep them handy.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
And in the next meeting, when the opportunity arises, which it will, to
Yeah.
ask one of those, commit to asking.
Yeah. Well, I just like cost benefit. That's a simple one. Like, what's the cost benefit here? Like,
I mean, it's
talk me through that. Talk me
yeah,
through that. Um, again, the problem is like we do have little empires, little departments, or some are like little empires, and you can't question them,
yeah,
right? How dare you ask what I'm doing? I'm like, I'm not. I'm asking you to help me understand. I'm not
yes.
questioning it. I'm trying to
Exactly.
understand. Um, but yeah. Well, you'll see at the next like senior level. unicorn thing. You'll see.
Just the way cost benefit analysis is a great way of approaching it, but see if you can access it from the perspective less of what are we gaining and what are we losing, and does this
Yeah,
align with what actually matters? Because the question of what actually matters starts to
yeah,
get folks to ask, oh, well, this is what matters for me, but what matters for you and what matters
yeah.
across us?
So we don't talk it that way as much as we should because I think that's language people can understand, right? We have values and we have a strategy and we have a vision and we have a focus, blah, blah, but like what matters though? Like, I don't give a shit about this. I don't think it's important. I don't see why this helps us. Help me understand how it does. I'm probably missing something. But we're not really, we don't do that. We don't use that muscle.
Maybe it needs to have a little workout.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it needs to start those little 5 pound featherweights.
Two and a
At
half, man.
least.
Make it
Yeah,
easy. Two
yeah,
and
yeah.
a half.
2.5, the little pink ones. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's end there. Let me end on that visual. Yeah. This was really good, Jordan. Thank you.
Good.
It's been a while.
You're welcome, and thank you.
I was coming off the rails a bit.
You're
I'm
on the
back on.
rails.
I feel back on now.
You're good.
Okay, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. We'll speak soon.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Bye.